Next, from the Courthouse in Danville, Illinois, we attend the swearing-in ceremony of Justice Rita Garman as she becomes the newest Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. This runs about 40 minutes.
I would ask our colleague, the Honorable Mary Jane Tice, Justice of the First District, please make some comments.
What a happy day. What a happy day to celebrate for Rita and Gil and Andy and Sarah, for Danville, and for this entire community. But also a happy day to celebrate for the judges of Illinois and ultimately the people of the state of Illinois. There is no one more prepared in our state to be Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court than Rita Garman. For 40 years, people have called her Your Honor, and she has served with honor at every level of our court system: the Circuit Court, the Appellate Court, and the Illinois Supreme Court. She began her judicial career here in this building as an associate judge. Now, associate judges are not the judges who are elected. They, in fact, are chosen by the elected judges. And usually, those judges hear less complex cases. Things like traffic cases or custody cases or probate or mortgage foreclosure cases, not the glamorous ones that get all the attention. But for the people who come to court for those kind of cases, these cases are the most important thing in their lives. Very few people have cases in the Supreme Court, but the courtrooms where associate judges sit are most people's experience with the court system. Associate judges are the face of justice in our state. Our new Chief Justice began her judicial career here. Now, it has been my privilege to work with her for the past 3 years on the Illinois Supreme Court, and I believe those first 12 years in the courtrooms here continue to influence and shape her. While the issues in the Supreme Court may be more complex and receive more attention, she never treats a case like a stack of papers or a case number. For her, each case is about one of our neighbors who come to us at difficult times in our lives, who ask us to help them resolve their disputes and to bring them from a place of crisis to a place of peace. Her proximity, her closeness to the human story in each case began in this building. She served for 9 years as a circuit judge, and she has spoken about those cases, especially those cases involving violence, and most especially violence toward children, how those cases stay with her. And then for 5 years, she sat on the Illinois Appellate Court, ensuring fairness not only in the individual cases before her, but in future cases. And now for 12 years, she has sat on our highest court, making policy that will affect the lives of people in our state for years to come. But I don't mean to say she is so well prepared just because of, shall we say, her longevity. Chief Justice Garman, soon to be Chief Justice Garman, has always been a leader of the Illinois judiciary. Presiding judge, chief judge, chair of the Associate Judge Conference, chair of the Supreme Court's Committee on Judicial Education. And it was on that committee almost 15 years ago that I first worked with our future Chief Justice. She was committed then, and she continues to be committed to the strengthening of our judiciary and to improving the delivery of justice to our citizens. Her first initiative when she joined the Supreme Court was to form the special committee to study child custody cases. Her concern was that the lives of children were left to drift while their parents' cases slowly worked their way through court. Today, every case involving children is expedited through our trial and reviewing courts, thanks to Chief Justice Garman. She has served as the Supreme Court's liaison to the Conference of Chief Judges, deeply involved in their monthly meetings. From court funding to technology, she knows every issue of our court system from every corner of this state, from the bottom up. She has also served as liaison to the Appellate Court Conference, so she has the same understanding of our reviewing courts. Now, as a Supreme Court Justice, of course, she's not only a policymaker, she is a crafter of decisions. She is always so well prepared. All Supreme Court lawyers, the people who come and practice in front of the court, often know this. When she asks a question, they better be ready. It will always go right to the heart of the case. Sometimes after she's asked a question, I just shake my head and smile and think, how does she do it? Every time she nails the case. If you have a chance, read one of her opinions. Her writing style is strong and elegant. She's never result-oriented. Instead, she always uses disciplined analysis. She is respectful to the parties, the lawyers, and her colleagues, even in dissent. And she does all those things as her authentic self, warm, gracious, and in beautiful clothes and fabulous shoes. Rita Garman inspires others to follow her leadership. Supreme Court Rule 62 of the Code of Judicial Conduct sets the highest standards for judges. A judge must conduct him or herself in a manner that enhances the public's confidence in the integrity of the judiciary. Today, the people of the state of Illinois can have confidence that Rita Garman will serve with honor as Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Justice Tyson. I knew this would happen. Looking out at the audience, I realized there was somebody's name who wasn't on the list, and I want to mention his name and get a big round of applause for one of Justice Garman's mentors, retired Chief Justice Ben Miller. And if I don't see anybody else out there I need to acknowledge, blame it on my eyeglasses. Our next speaker is our other colleague, Justice Ann Burke from the 1st District.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice, and to be Madam Chief Justice. It is a statistical fact that nearly half of all law school graduates today are women. In Illinois, history was made in 2010 when Justice Tice joined this court, and for the first time, 3 women justices were seated together on the Illinois Supreme Court. Given the current prevalence of women in the legal profession, we sometimes forget that it was not long ago that women jurists were unheard of. Our own state history reflects the difficult struggle women have confronted in their aspirations to enter the legal profession. It all began with Myra Bradwell. She applied for admission to the Illinois bar in 1869, the first woman to do so. The Illinois Supreme Court, this very court, denied Bradwell admission, stating that the strife of the bar would surely destroy femininity. The court said, and I quote, "This step, if taken by us, would mean that in the opinion of this tribunal, every civil office in this state may be filled by a woman, that it is in harmony with the spirit of our Constitution and laws that woman should be given an opportunity to be a governor, judge, sheriff. This we are not yet prepared to hold." Fortunately, that prejudice gave way in 1872 when the Illinois legislature passed the first anti-sex discrimination law in the country, and women were permitted to pursue a career in the law. Now, since that time, there have been countless intelligent, courageous women who, refusing to accept the status quo, continued to break the barriers that had previously existed. Former Chief Justice Mary Ann McMurrow was one of those courageous, intelligent women, and Rita Garman is also one of those courageous, intelligent women. Now, after graduating with highest honors from the University of Illinois in 1965, she decided to attend law school. That decision was met with skepticism and ridicule. even the University of Iowa College of Law, where she enrolled. Chastised by her professors for taking up a space that could have been filled by a man, she was told that she would probably never practice law and that she was in law school only to catch a husband. The irony is that she already had discovered her soulmate, Gil, before she even began the study of law. However, together, they attended the University of Iowa College of Law and earned their Juris Doctorate degrees in 1968, shortly after they were married. And proving her professor's predictions incorrect, Rita has enjoyed an exceptionally successful legal career for the past 45 years. She is the second longest serving jurist in our state, having been on the bench for the past 4 decades. Nicholas Sparks, an American novelist, screenwriter, and producer, once said, "The most difficult journeys often take us where we were meant to go." That certainly has been true for Justice Garman. However, I'm not here to talk to you about the remarkable legal career of our newest Chief Justice. Justice Tice has very ably informed you of Justice Garman's professional achievements. But I would like to tell you about the person, Rita Garman, who today becomes the second woman to hold the position of Chief Justice of the state of Illinois. And I became personally acquainted with Rita in 2006 when I was appointed to the court. Before that, we only shared a professional relationship. Yet Rita was one of the very first people to call and congratulate me and welcome me to the court. That act of grace is representative of Rita. She is a nurturing and caring individual who always takes the time to make the people around her feel comfortable and at ease. And over the past 7 years, I have come to learn much about Rita and that kind of person she is. And while working with her on the Illinois Supreme Court Historic Preservation Commission and on juvenile justice issues, we have formed a bond of friendship which has grown. Now, at first, whenever the court convened, Rita and I would get together in the morning for our power walks. Initially, our walks consisted of walking tours through Washington Park and the city of Springfield. Rita was a wonderful guide, and our walks gave us the opportunity to share our stories of our lives and our families. But I must admit that I soon found I could not keep up with her. I blamed the uneven cobblestone streets. So Rita agreed to trade our walking tours of Springfield for power walks in the mall. Of course, this had an added benefit. We could also power shop. Now, after Justice Tice joined the court, she sometimes comes with us on our excursions. I might mention that I thought Rita and I were very experienced shoppers until Mary Jane came along. One of our trips to a very favorite one of our stores, Justice Tice exited with 2 shopping bags full of things, putting us to shame. Now, Rita may not want me to share this with you, but I'm sure that our male colleagues on the court will tell you that whenever we say, "We need some air," it's a signal that we're headed for the mall. Now, Justice Carmeier truly understood this. He once gave us a shopping list to look for Spode for his wife, Mary. Now, interestingly, you never know who you'll run into in the mall. On one occasion, we caught Justice Thomas in Macy's department store in a section we never expected him to be in. But on a serious note, I must say that our time together on the court over the past 7 years has given me some insight into who Rita Garman is as a person. Her family and Methodist upbringing in Oswego, Illinois, has formed the basis for her deeply moral and ethical character. Rita Garman is a woman of faith with strong family values, and I'm sure her 2 children, Sarah and Andy, and her 3 grandchildren would attest to that. Rita's daughter, Sarah, recently told me that her mom's devotion to family is evidenced by the fact that she never misses a family birthday gathering. And she remembers to send cards to her own siblings, as well as to their spouses and all the nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews. Sarah also shared that her mom always encouraged her and her brother Andy from a very young age to reach for the stars. Sarah said it was an extremely empowering message to receive for her and her brother. The notion that she and her brother could achieve whatever they set their minds to. And of course, they could look to their mother and her success for inspiration. Now, Rita's husband, Gil, describes Rita as the engine that runs the family, the prime mover and motivator, and a great organizer. He even notes that her memory is so good that she remembers things about him he swears never happened. But all kidding aside, I believe that the attributes of Justice Garman and what she has displayed in her personal life, and which have made her an excellent wife, mother, and grandmother, carry over to her professional life. The care and the concern she has shown for her own family is equally evident in the care and concern she shows for her court family. Understanding that in every family there is a need for compromise and collaboration, Justice Garman has always been willing to hear the other side, whether it is in listening to the parties in a case before her in court or in the respectful consideration of the views of her colleagues. And I am confident, as Chief Justice, Rita will serve and strive to bring better cohesiveness and the highest standards of integrity and fairness throughout the Illinois court system. Congratulations, Justice Garman.
Thank you, Justice Burke. I thought maybe you realized the lineup here that you would take a poke at Justice Thomas when he gets to speak after you. Justice Thomas.
He's just not going to tell you where he was.
Thank you, Chief Justice Kilbride. It's my honor. I don't know if we need this or not. It's my honor and privilege, and indeed my pleasure, to be here today for the installation of Rita Garman as the next Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. This is a day we have all been looking forward to with excitement and anticipation, though I have to say some of us have been anticipating a bit more than others. I was taken aback somewhat last week when I called Rita's chambers and her assistant Mary answered, "Good morning, almost Chief Justice Garman's chamber." But that actually has me thinking about a genuine challenge I faced as I prepared these remarks. A challenge, I didn't know I was going to face the challenge of you thinking about what department I was in the store. But now, as most of you know, when so-called important people like us get up in front of a crowd to introduce or honor someone, one of the first things that we have to do is to establish, to prove to everyone, listening, that we are friends, pals, buddies with whoever we are speaking about. And the way we always do that is with a nickname. If I'm introducing Chief Justice Kilbride, I call him Tom. And when he gets up to speak, he says, "Thanks, Bob." See, we're best friends. But there's no nickname for Rita. Reet just doesn't work. And that kind of exhausts the list of options. So I'm not quite sure how to establish for all of you in a shorthand way that Rita and I are indeed very good friends, except to simply say, and gratefully say that we are. Rita and I have known each other a long time, and we have served together on the Supreme Court for almost 13 years now. And during that time, Rita has been my colleague, my sounding board, my ally, my foil, sometimes my adversary, but always, always my friend. And I am better for knowing her, and I look forward to her time as chief. Rita's accomplishments as a judge are too many to list, and many of them have already been mentioned this morning. The longest-serving female judge in Illinois, the first Chief Justice to have served in every possible judicial office at every level of the judiciary, champion of the Illinois Supreme Court Special Committee on Child Custody Issues, Supreme Court liaison to the Illinois Conference of Chief Judges, the Committee on Judicial Performance Evaluation, and the Supreme Court Historic Preservation Committee, the recipient of both the Illinois Judges Association Lifetime Achievement Award and the inaugural Harold Sullivan Award for Judicial Excellence. All of these achievements and accolades are appropriate testimony of Rita's professionalism and integrity, and they confirm over and over again her fitness to serve as the Chief Justice of this great state. But I think it is also important to identify and acknowledge a few other things about Rita, other facets of her character that may not be as well known, which certainly help to paint a more complete picture of the person behind the judge. First, she hails from Oswego, which I am very happy to say is located squarely within the 2nd Judicial District, my judicial district. So while Rita may temporarily be on loan to the 4th District, which obviously she serves well, I want everyone here to recognize and understand that it is the 2nd District that raised her and nurtured her and made her what she is today. Something you also might not know is that Rita has a sharp and very quick wit. It happens without fail. At some point every term, whether in the conference room or around the dinner table, Rita and I will get into a good-natured verbal exchange, trading wisecracks and barbs. A healthy give and take between friends, and Rita is never shy or reluctant to engage. Though, now that I think about it, I probably give more than I take, and now that I think about it, Rita is about to take over as chief, which means technically Rita is about to be my boss, which means she can now find any number of ways to make my life on the court much more difficult. Rita, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, for anything I may have ever said that may have offended you or upset you, I am so sorry. Lastly, I would be horribly remiss if I did not pay homage to what is perhaps Rita's greatest claim to fame, and it was already brought up today, but I'll bring it up again. University of Illinois bronze tablet? Nope. Longest serving female judge in Illinois? Nope. Only 2nd woman to serve as Illinois Chief Justice? Nope. No, I am talking about something for which, as far as I know, Rita has no peer, with all due respect to Justice Tice and Justice Burke. And those of you who know Rita, you know what I'm talking about. Rita is a one-of-a-kind, world-class, Olympic-level, gold medal-winning shopper. In fact, one of the things I am most looking forward to over the next couple of years as the court meets not in Springfield but in Chicago is watching Rita take her shopping game, which is already all-star quality, to the next level. I mean, White Oaks Mall and Tuesday Morning are one thing, but State Street, the magnificent Mile, Water Tower Place, I can't even imagine. And Gil, I saw that the last time this was brought up, you didn't even smile. I would be checking those credit card statements very, very closely. In all seriousness, I am so thrilled that Rita will be serving as the court's next Chief Justice. Rita Garman is simply one of the best judges I have ever had the privilege to work with. She is fiercely intelligent. She is attentive, and she is engaged. And she always knows the cases we are hearing at least as well as the attorneys know them, and sometimes even better. She knows what she believes, and she is never afraid to assert her position, even when it is unpopular. But at the same time, and this is every bit as important, she is always willing to hear the other side, to keep her mind open, and to allow her position to change if she sees a better way. She is organized and disciplined, and I have no doubt that she will manage the court's administrative docket with the same authority and with the same efficiency that she brings to her judicial docket. Most importantly, Rita is a woman of deep integrity and deep faith. In all that she does, both on and off the bench, she is governed by a consistent and solid character that seeks first and foremost not the approval of people, but the approval of God. In his farewell address to the nation, Washington taught us that of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. The mere politician, equally with the pious man, ought to respect and to cherish them. Let it simply be asked, where is the security for property, for reputation, for life, if the sense of religious obligation desert the oaths, which are the instruments of investigation in courts of justice? And let us with caution indulge the supposition that morality can be maintained without religion. Whatever may be conceded to the influence of refined education on minds of peculiar structure, reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail in the exclusion of religious principle. Washington understood that service to the public is not incompatible with service to God. On the contrary, Washington insisted that service to God is an indispensable prerequisite to public service. Without a sense of higher obligation, our oaths of office, our willingness to treat our colleagues with respect and dignity, our willingness to place the public good above our own, in short, our willingness to serve, lasts only as long as it remains in our own interest to do so. Rita Garman understands this. She understands that by serving God, she does honor to her office. But she also understands, and this is the true testament of her character, the true testament to her faith, that true service to her office is only possible only as long as she remains committed in all that she does to honoring God. Rita, 8 years ago, when I stood where you are standing in a minute, I expressly asked for God's help that with the support of my family, friends, and colleagues, I might prove myself worthy of the awesome responsibility for which I had been trusted. My prayer for you today is a little different, because in my mind and in the minds of your colleagues, you have already proven yourself worthy of the office you are about to enter. And so my prayer for you is that with God's help and with the support of your family, your friends, and your colleagues, you would continue to exercise and exert the very wisdom, integrity, and character that has led you so rightly to this place, to this office, to this moment. Chief Justice Thomas Tommy, would you now do us all the honor of coming forward and administering the oath of office to our next Chief Justice? Congratulations.
It's my privilege as a father of 3 daughters and my wife Mary, who remind me all the time about don't forget about the women, to administer the oath to the second woman to become Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Rita B. Garman,
I, Rita B. Garman,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of Chief Justice
of Chief Justice
of the Supreme Court
of the Supreme Court
of the State of Illinois
of the State of Illinois
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Supreme Court, my colleagues from the Appellate Court and the Circuit Court, the Chief Judges, Vermilion County Bench and Bar, thank you and good morning and welcome to Danville. I really, really appreciate you being here today. As I look out at this audience, it is among the most gratifying and uplifting moments of my life. Seeing my family, my friends, and my neighbors, my current and former colleagues, and people from every aspect of my life gathered here to share this day with me is really a humbling experience. At the same time, your being here gives me confidence as I undertake a new phase of my professional life. Today I'm reminded that anything I have achieved in life, from my high school graduation to this day, I have managed to do only because of the help, the support, and encouragement of others and the help of God. My parents taught their daughters, as well as their son, to set our sights high and to work hard to reach our goals. They were with me to celebrate my graduation from law school and my very first swearing-in ceremony as a member of the Illinois Bar. They lived to see me appointed as an associate judge. When visiting us here in Danville, my father would frequently come to court, and he'd sit in the back of the courtroom. I had to tell him, please don't brag to the other people in the courtroom that the judge is his daughter. Not everyone loves your daughter. But Dad and Mother were wonderful, and they supported me, and they urged me to run for circuit judge. My father lived only long enough to hear the news that I had been elected. My mother lived just long enough to see me appointed to the appellate court. But I feel their presence today, and as always, I'm grateful for their unwavering devotion and support. My brother Sheldon and my sister Lynn are here today, and they have been great role models for me. Their family, and including their children and grandchildren, are strong supporters, and their love is unconditional. My husband, Gil, has been my greatest partner, my advisor, my supporter, and my friend from the days when we were college students, both considering a career in the law. We went to law school together. We graduated from law school together. We took the bar exam, and we were admitted on the same day. My journey to this day is his journey as well. Our children, Sarah and Andy, accommodated their mother's long hours and occasional preoccupation with work without complaint. Whatever I have managed to accomplish as a lawyer and judge, I am most proud of our children, the special people that they married, and the families that they have built. As a young lawyer, I benefited from the advice and counsel of many attorneys, among them Bob Banks and Chuck Young, Johnny Meyer and Ralph Swanson, and Carol Dukes and Don Merlin. The late 60s were not an easy time for a young woman to launch a legal career, but I was welcomed and encouraged by Danville's legal community. As a judge, I had the honor and privilege of being mentored by Justice Ben Miller, the late Justice Carl Lund, Judge Ralph Pierman, and the late Judge Jim Robinson and Frank Meyer. Throughout my career, I learned from my colleagues at every level, and I've learned from the attorneys who appeared before me as well. I was often the first woman to hold a particular position, and I benefited, though, from those women that came before me, from Myra Bradwell to Sandra Day O'Connor. Not the least of these was my late friend and colleague, Justice Mary Ann McMorrow. She was the first woman to hold the position I take today. If I've helped to pave the way for more women in the legal profession, it is my payment of a debt I owe to past generations. Over the past several weeks, as I prepared to take over the responsibilities of Chief Justice for my friend, Justice Tom Kilbride, I've had the opportunity to meet with many members of our administrative and support services. I've come to realize more than ever But we 7 justices are not the entirety of the Illinois courts, of the Illinois Supreme Court. We are, in a sense, the tip of the iceberg. We're the public face of the court. And our written opinions and orders are the voice of the court. But we are supported by dedicated efforts of dozens of professionals and support staff. The administrative office of the courts, headed by Mike Tardy, has the responsibility for running an organization that's large and complex as many corporations. At a time when resources are limited and the role of the court system is expanding, I know that I will rely heavily on their advice and their professional expertise as we proceed to administer the court system. The office of clerk of the court is the gateway to the court, processing every motion, petition, or brief that's submitted to us, ensuring compliance with court rules, and communicating with the parties, the attorneys, and the public. The greatest challenge facing this office is adapting to new technology to meet the needs of its many constituents. It is in extremely capable hands with our clerk, Carolyn Taft-Grosper. Luckily, we also have the benefit of an outstanding information technology staff that keeps our networks running and our websites functioning and deals patiently with some of us that are not exactly tech savvy. The communications office with Joe Tiber and Dawn Friesen is the spokesperson of the court and does a great job of making the actions of the court transparent to the public we all serve. From press conferences and press releases about our decisions and activities to managing our presence on the internet and Twitter, this office serves a very vital function. The attorneys in our research department review virtually every document filed with the court, including petitions, motions, and briefs. They conduct independent legal research and provide the justices with invaluable analysis. We are grateful to Doug Smith and his staff. The Supreme Court Library, headed by Jeff Pelzak, not only supports the research efforts of the justices, law clerks, and staff attorneys, but of attorneys and members of the public. The reporter of decisions, Brian Irvin, and his staff operate what is essentially a publishing house, editing our opinions to prevent us from our inevitable errors in grammar and punctuation and verifying every single citation. We depend on our marshal, Robert Shea, and his staff for the security issues in our court system and for being a liaison to the local law enforcement and to help the circuit and appellate courts. Finally, each justice depends on his or her staff, usually made up of an administrative assistant and several law clerks. I have benefited over the years from the work of my law clerks, several of whom have gone on to their own impressive careers in the law. Others have stayed with me for more than a decade. Mary Hurley has been an invaluable assistant to me since my days in the circuit court. She works very hard. Gary Miller became a deputy about the time I became a judge. He and Sheriff Hartshorn, I think, went on the Sheriff's Department at the same time. I'm grateful to the Sheriff for his hard work in putting together this ceremony, but I am particularly grateful to Gary for doing the heavy lifting and all of the very difficult work, and for being my security all the time. He's been responsible for me for a long time. It's quite a burden. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the tremendous contribution of the lawyers and judges who serve on our numerous committees and commissions. We are grateful for their hard work and dedication. I look forward to providing leadership and support to all of these important functions and to serving the people of Illinois in my new role. I want to emphasize the word service. The judicial system of Illinois is a part of an important system, but it exists to serve the people of Illinois by rendering decisions that are fair, impartial, and timely. Over the next 3 years, each time I'm called upon to make a decision or to exercise leadership, my objective will be to best serve the people of Illinois. In particular, I'll keep in continue the court's emphasis on civility and professionalism in the legal profession. Litigants and jurors and the public at large are served best when legal issues are resolved by reasoned judgment, not by a clash of words. Second, I will work to ensure prompt decision-making at all levels of the court system. It may be a cliche to say that justice delayed is justice denied, but this statement is no less true for being trite. Third, I'll support increased use of technology in our courthouses and courtrooms, both to make the system more efficient and to make the work of the courts more transparent. Finally, because the public is best served by judges whose knowledge is current and wide-ranging, I'll place particular emphasis on judicial education. It is my sincere hope that at the end of my 3-year term as Chief Justice, it will be said of the Illinois Supreme Court that we exemplify collegiality and professionalism, and that the bench and bar follow the example. I hope that the courts of this state are pointed to by others as models of expertise, efficiency, and transparency. In short, I hope that my legacy will be one of competence, clarity, and cooperation, so that the people of Illinois receive the justice that they deserve. In closing, I'm reminded of the words of Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, who once said that we don't accomplish anything in this world alone. Whatever happens is the result of the whole tapestry of one's life and of all the weavings of individual threads from one to another that creates something. Each person here today, each one, is an individual thread, and I am grateful for the part that you have played and that you are playing, and help me create the tapestry of my life, and with the help of God, we will go forward. Thank you.
You're watching the Illinois Channel.